It's pretty wild to think that a moment of darkness, a shadow that swept across the Earth nearly 3,000 years ago, is one of our most important tools for locking down ancient history. Sounds kind of crazy, right? But this one single event, well, it changed absolutely everything.
I mean, it sounds like something out of science fiction. How on earth can a solar eclipse, an event that lasted just a few minutes, become the key to unlocking the timelines of entire empires? That's the incredible puzzle we're about to piece together.
So before we can really appreciate the eclipse itself, we've got to understand the problem it solved. And trust me, it's a big one. The great time puzzle of the ancient world.
Okay, just imagine trying to put together a story, but all the pages are torn, the dates are smudged, and some chapters are just missing. That's what ancient historians are up against. We have lists of kings, sure, but they're full of gaps. We have chronicles of events, but they often contradict each other. Without one solid, verifiable date, a real anchor in time, the whole historical timeline is just kind of floating.
But then, deep in the dusty records of the ancient Assyrian Empire, historians found something, a clue. And it wasn't in some grand royal legend. It was hiding in plain sight, etched onto a simple clay tablet. And what's so remarkable is where they found this clue. It wasn't a prophecy, it wasn't a poem. The one tiny detail that would change our understanding of history was tucked away in what was essentially government paperwork, an official year-by-year list. And on that list, for one specific year, a scribe carved this incredibly simple but powerful sentence. In the month Shemanu, an eclipse of the sun took place. That's it. That little note is the key that would unlock centuries of the past.
So why was this list such a big deal? It's called the Assyrian eponym canon. See, instead of numbering years like we do today, 2023, 2024, the Assyrians named each year after a high-ranking official called an eponym. This created an official, unbroken year-by-year record for the entire state. It was their calendar, their official ledger, which makes it an unbelievably reliable source for historians.
Now, you might hear people call this the oldest eclipse ever recorded. And look, while it is incredibly ancient, that's not actually what makes it so special. The real story is a little more nuanced, and the distinction here is absolutely crucial.
So let's clear this up. There are actually older eclipse records out there. We've got one from the ancient city of Ugarit, way back in 1223 BCE. What makes the Assyrian eclipse so famous is that it's one of the earliest that is securely datable. It sits right inside that official year-by-year list, which lets us match it perfectly to a specific astronomical event. It's the combination of the record and its context that gives it historical superpowers.
All right, so the Assyrians gave us the clue, but to actually solve the puzzle, we have to mix their ancient observation with some seriously cool modern science. It's time for us to become celestial time detectives.
Using everything we know about orbital mechanics, astronomers can essentially rewind the solar system. They can calculate with pinpoint precision where and when every single solar eclipse in history would have been visible on Earth. It's like having a perfect time machine for the sky.
And here it is, the big aha moment. The Assyrian record says the eclipse happened in the year named for an official called Bur-Sagale during the month of Simanu, which is our May or June. So when astronomers rewind the clock, what do they find? A total solar eclipse visible over Assyria on exactly one date that fits, June 15, 763 BCE. It's a perfect match across millennia. Just incredible.
Okay, so we've matched an ancient text to a super precise date. What does that actually do? Well, it creates something historians absolutely dream of, an anchor in time. By fixing the year of Bur-Sagale to 763 BCE, we can now confidently date the entire eponym list, and that lets us push our solid, confirmed timeline for Assyrian history all the way back to the year 910 BCE. That is huge.
Let's break down how this works, because it's pretty ingenious. First, you pinpoint the eclipse, matching the record to the astronomical event of 763 BCE. Second, you align the list. You lock that one known year into its spot in the official sequence. And once you have that one solid peg hammered into the timeline, you can secure everything else around it. You can confidently count forwards and backwards, fixing the reigns of kings, the dates of major battles. You can even date events in neighboring kingdoms. It becomes a linchpin for the entire ancient Near East.
It's really amazing to think about how this one event was seen in two completely different ways, a moment of darkness that, for us today, has shed so much light on the past.
For the Assyrians living through this in 763 BCE, this was a terrifying, terrible omen. I mean, the sky went dark in the middle of the day. The record for that year even mentions a revolt in the city of Ashur, probably because people thought the gods were angry. For them, it was a sign of chaos. For us, looking back, it's a key. It provides the absolute clarity we need to understand their world.
So what does this one eclipse really teach us? Well, for one, it proves that sometimes the most priceless historical clues are just a few simple words. It shows the incredible power we have when we combine ancient observation with modern science. And it reminds us that history is really the art of connecting dots that are scattered all over the place. And maybe, most importantly, it shows us that with the right key, the past is never truly dark.
The Bur-Sagale eclipse was this perfect storm, a reliable ancient record and a predictable cosmic event lining up perfectly. And it really makes you wonder, what other huge historical puzzles are still out there, just waiting for their own eclipse moment, that one perfect clue that will suddenly bring everything into focus?